Welcome to everyone who is joining us right now. We're so delighted to have you for our 7th State of Minds. As people are logging on, we'll welcome you, but we'll go ahead and get started. We have a lot of people who enjoy watching the recording as well, and so in advance of that, thanks to you for watching the recording of this State of Minds presentation. Our objective with these is really to provide an update to you and bring Minds to you, our valued alumni, donors, and friends, and share with you the great things happening at Minds. The program this evening will include a presentation from Minds President Paul Johnson, Kirsten Volpe, Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer and CFO, Peter Hahn, Vice President for External Relations and Chief of Staff, and Maddie Addis, awesome Minds student representative. We'll have Q&A at the end, and we have some other colleagues who are available to help us answer questions, Provost Rick Holtz and Vice President for Student Life, Braylon Pantel. So thanks to all of them for bringing you the information this evening. Thanks to all of you who sent in questions in advance. We think most of them will be answered during the presentation, but we'll do our best to get all of them answered during the Q&A session later on. If you have a question, feel free to use the Q&A function at the bottom of the screen. And if you have a similar question than to one that's already been posted, feel free to upvote that, and we'll make sure we get to that. I want to be sure I put in a plug for Homecoming. Homecoming is next weekend, and we've got a really good group of folks already signed up, and we'd love to see you. You can check out all the various programs and opportunities to participate on our website, weare.minds.edu. You'd think I would know that. We would love to see you on campus. One of the fun things to do during homecoming is the bonfire on Friday night, and the whole Minds community comes out for that. So we look forward to seeing you. We have a lot to be proud of at Minds, and you'll hear a lot about those things tonight. We're in the home stretch of our campaign for Minds at 150 with the goal of celebrating in the spring of 2025. And you'll hear some about some of the amazing private investments that donors have made that have enabled a lot of the programming and initiatives on campus. And we have a big birthday to celebrate, our sesquicentennial. Minds is big 150th birthday in 2024 next year, and everyone will have an opportunity to participate. So let's keep that momentum going, and I'll turn it over to President Paul Johnson.
All right, thank you, Brian. Hey, everybody, welcome to Minds. Thank you for being here tonight. It's great to have an opportunity to share some of the exciting things happening at Minds, and I thought I'd go through a little presentation. One thing Brian didn't mention about Homecoming is if you want to sign up for the 5K, you'll get a pretty cool shirt if you run it, and a somewhere around here, a medal from the Foundry. So I'll see you there at the starting line, whatever time it is, something early in the morning, I think. Anyway, you'll probably finish 20 minutes before I do, but I'll at least get to see you at the starting line. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. I thought we've got a little presentation here for you, and I'm going to trade off with a few of my friends that are here as well. So let me start off with some slides, and hopefully you all can see this. So this is our fall 2023 class doing their M picture out on the football field, and they've had a pretty exciting start of the semester. We met a lot of them at Orediger Camp. This is some of them in the infamous Gaga Ball pit, Snow Mountain Ranch. This is where they all hope to have an opportunity to slam the ball at the president and get him out of the pit. But always one of the best ways to meet people is there. A lot of fun, great group, lots of energy. And of course, one of the best things about this is that it's really run by our upper class students. So great way to start building community there. Then, of course, we do the M Climb, great tradition here at Mines. Hopefully, yeah, not too many people carry a rock the size of that one on the one side of the screen. I think that's the overachiever of the group. I think we clocked it somewhere at 30 to 40 pounds or something like that, but it almost broke the little sophisticated rock weighing machine that the alumni bring out there. But it's always fun. Lots of water involved in the M Climb, and I happen to be a very popular target apparently, as I've learned. But always fun doing that with the group. First year students all get put in a CSM 101 freshman success class. This is my group of first year students that I meet with every Monday morning at 9 a.m. And this past week, they got to have breakfast at the president's house. So we had a lot of fun there, and Brian's bringing his class over for breakfast Friday morning. So I'm looking forward to getting to meet them there as well. For those who aren't in my class, they can also come over for food at the president's house with a pizza with the president. We've already done a few of those. A couple for scholars, communities, and a couple for students just kind of signing up, but that's always a lot of fun as well. We had a celebration of Mines where the students get to learn about all of the student organizations and sign up for things there. It was an incredibly rainy day, but lots of energy, lots of smiles, lots of fun. And I always like running across our slacklining group here, in addition to the 200 and something other organizations that end up out there. Hopefully some of the students, whether they're first year or second, third, fourth, whatever, have had a chance to attend one of our athletic events. We've got number two ranked and undefeated football team. They beat two top 5 teams already. Blaster has had to run a lot. Last game was 70-7, so he had to make 10 trips, which I calculated as about 1,400 yards of rushing for the Borough. So he's already exceeded what most running backs do in an entire season. And of course, Blue Key runs with him. So they're obviously a great organization, one of my favorites to support as well. And our cross country teams, men and women, are ranked number 1 and number 3 in the country. Women's soccer's nationally ranked. And the other teams, volleyball, men's soccer, getting underway. So we're looking forward to a lot of fun cheering for our Orediggers and Mines athletic teams. Last week was the career fair, big event here on campus, and it was even bigger than it ever has been before. We had over 400 companies, I think it was somewhere around 410, came to interview our students. I think the largest, let's see, when I started here, the biggest career fair was probably 240 companies. Maybe last year we might have gotten up to 360-ish or something like that. So this time we had 410. We've split career fair across 2 days, so students have more opportunities to interact with companies. And it's always fun to try to recognize students that I know that normally don't dress like this. And it's a blast to see alumni come back and be on the other side of the tables interviewing our students. So lots of fun, great event. And our students are in high demand, as you might expect. And with that, I'm going to bring on board our special guest student here, Maddie. You didn't get to see these photos beforehand, but Maddie was a star even before the semester started, and I thought I'd give her a chance to introduce herself. And Maddie, why don't you tell us what your first 5 weeks have been like?
Yeah, absolutely. These pictures are funny. So my first 5 weeks have been really good so far. It's been so fun being back on campus, and there's always just a great energy on campus that first week, especially with everyone reuniting with their friends and seeing a bunch of new faces as well as familiar faces. And it's always so fun to hear about what everyone gets up to over the summer, whether it's internships or traveling or variety of work options that people do. It's so fun to hear about. Like PCJ said, Celebration of Mines was so rainy, but it's one of my favorite events of the year. So I made it out still, helped recruiting with some of the clubs I'm in. And honestly, I think it was one of the best celebrations of Mines because you knew that the people out there were determined enough to brace the weather to learn about all the amazing clubs and orgs at Mines. So that was really fun to see. And then after Celebration of Mines, clubs meeting kicked off I personally am in Minds Green Team, a sustainability organization on campus, and Circle K International, a community service organization. And kicking off those club meetings, having a bunch of new members coming in has been so fun to see. And I know that everyone involved in organizations on campus has been enjoying getting to get back to those weekly meetings and having a great time reuniting with friends through those. In addition, career fair, like PCJ talked about, was absolutely astounding to see all those companies here at Minds, recruiting Minds students. Definitely made me super proud to be a student at Minds. And then classes have been the other major component of the first 5 weeks. They've been pretty fun. It's been fun getting back into the classroom and getting my learning cap back on after a nice break this summer. But yeah, the first round of exams are about to kick off, so definitely you feel that on the campus. But I know all the Mind students are working hard and studying, so it's all fun to see.
Great. Hey, Maddie, would you just take a minute and tell folks where you're from, what year you are, what's your major, and what were you doing in these pictures?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name's Maddie. I'm studying chemical engineering. I am in my 4th year now, and I am studying chemical engineering, but with like focus in sustainable energy. I'm from Tulsa, Oklahoma. I was born and raised there. But whenever I started looking at colleges and knew I wanted to study engineering, coming to Minds was a no-brainer. So absolutely love it here in Golden and on campus. It's so amazing. In these pictures here, I was emceeing one of Minds Foundation's amazing events, the Evening of Excellence. Got to meet so many awesome alumni and contributors to Minds Foundation. And it was so fun to get to introduce people and get to MC in front of all of these people. And also the food was really good. So that's an important note. But yeah, it was so fun.
Great, thanks, Maddie. And just so you know, I was looking at the list of people who are on the Zoom meeting right now. Just so you know, we've got, judging from what I can see of people's names, we have people in every corner of the U.S. We've got folks from Florida, in the Northeast, Southern California, Oregon. We got a family in Steamboat who's watching us. We even have our old pal Thunder Dan Fox here watching away, and so it's a great group of people who are with us here tonight. And everybody, you'll get to hear a little bit more from Maddie later as we get into the questions phase. So I thought I'd spend a little time answering, give you some information that tend to answer some of the questions people typically ask this event. So the first question is sort of, tell us a little about students. So we have a great incoming class. It's about 1,600 new students. It's right about where we want it to be. About the same size as the class was a couple years ago. The only thing that's different is we actually admitted 1,000 fewer students to get this class, which means that the students that we admit, more of them wanted to be at Minds than 2 years ago. So it's a great sign from trying to build interest in coming to Minds. And it's made of first-time students plus transfer students. It's about 50, half and half, in-state, out-of-state. And the number of women in the class is the largest ever coming to Minds. Most first-generation students. I know many people online have an affinity for first-generation students. And then we're getting much more diverse in a lot of different dimensions. So it's a great incoming class. And I sometimes look at the academic qualifications, and I know some of you who graduated from Minds look at them too and go, man, I could never get in this place. So pretty awesome students, very high academic standards to get in here, but it's not just your grades. It's really, we're looking for a fit. We're looking for people who want to work hard. We're looking for people who want to work in teams. We're looking for a lot of Maddies to come here. So that's the whole goal. But anyway, great incoming class. We also brought in about 40 new faculty, split between dedicated teaching faculty and faculty who teach and do research at the same time. And we've been able to manage to maintain a pretty low student to faculty ratio as we've grown the students here. So great addition, lots of faculty that we're very excited about. And people are always wondering are we getting bigger? Are we done getting bigger, or whatever it is? So here's just a comparison of where we are in terms of total faculty numbers compared to what our Minds at 150 strategic plan design has been. So you can see we're pretty close to the total number of students that we were designing the university for. Where we have the distribution skewed a little bit in the sense we have more undergraduates than we were originally designing for, a few less graduate students than normal. So we're still, that at least from the design standpoint, we're looking at faculty wise, we're in the right zone, and from a research productivity standpoint, the faculty are knocking it out of the park in terms of getting research grants, already exceeding our Minds at 150 goals from that standpoint. So what is it that students this year will have access to that maybe they didn't have before? And so I go over some of those things that are maybe new to the programs or new facilities. And so the first thing is what we had in our strategic plan, based on input from actually a lot of you on the call, is we knew that we needed to take the graduate that we produced that has that very strong technical training, and we needed to add to it some business acumen, and we needed to add to it some context. So our engineers knew the situation in which they were working. And so last year, the faculty passed a revision to the core that includes new skill sets that employers are asking for. So the students will now get, everybody's going to get program and data analytics experience. They're all going to get business acumen experience. They're all going to learn context. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And then there's a wellness component too. We want our students to be obviously healthy, doing well in all dimensions from that standpoint. So in addition to the course content being changed a little bit to match up what we wanted to do for Minds at 150, we also have this VIP Pascal program, which is really focused on professional development, which helps the students develop those skills that augment what they're learning in the classroom to make them highly valued and future prepared, which is what we're going after. There's 2 new undergraduate degree programs students can choose from. These are both based on input from industry. First one is a bachelor's degree in construction engineering. If any students that went to the career fair this year would have noticed that the second floor of the student rec center where we hold the career fair were all companies that were civil infrastructure companies that were looking for civil engineers and construction engineers. And I've had multiple companies come to me and say they will hire every graduate from this degree program if they could. So I think we all know there's a lot of money going into infrastructure investments in the country, and companies need to staff up to be able to handle all that work. So they're coming to us asking us for that. So we're really excited to see that program get off the ground. And then a no-brainer program for us, Colorado School of Mines, with its history of material science excellence in close proximity to Coors Tech. And there not being very many of these in the country, we're launching a ceramic engineering program as well. So we expect that to be both these programs be tops in the country as they get going, but they're already enrolling students in the programs, and we're excited to see those 2 take off. Sometimes people are interested in where the students are across majors here on campus. And you can see that obviously mechanical engineering, computer science draw a lot of students into those programs. And then from there on, Maddie's in the number 3 program, but I got to tell you, Maddie, you're gonna have to watch out for electrical engineering because I think they're on the rise. And I expect that program to be growing here as well. It's one of the newer on its own programs. It's certainly its own department since I've gotten here. And then the 4 newest programs, Quantitative Biosciences Engineering, Business Engineering, Management Science, which were launched a couple of years ago, have pretty healthy enrollments. And then the 2 that I just talked about already have almost 10 students in each of the programs just after 4 or 5 weeks of being open. So that's where we are right now. And of course, one of our challenges is how do you resource a university where a lot of the students are in a few programs and then many programs have smaller enrollments? And that's just sort of a challenge for us to be able to manage that. If you're a student this year, you're also going to be the first ones to have access to the Labriola Innovation Hub. This is a new facility. Many of you have heard about that. Frank and Mary Labriola gave us the naming gift for this facility. It's almost 40,000 square feet of makerspace. So every student is going to have their freshman design class in here. They're going to have their senior capstone class in here. If they just want to like wake up in the middle of the night and they have an idea for prototyping something or making something, they're just going to go walk over there. They're probably going to get a very strong coffee from the cafe that's in there to stay awake while they're working on those things. It's also the center for our the hub headquarters for McNeil Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation, and it's going to be pretty exciting. You'll all get tours of that pretty soon when it gets open, and it'll be open for business for the spring semester. There's a whole area there that includes the Innovation Hub. We've also taken the campus shops and repurposed those for large student projects. These used to be the campus truck shops. McNeil Hall, which is close by, has classrooms specifically for design classes. And so that whole area is going to be referred to as the Labriola Innovation District. So you'll see signage on campus starting to appear for that. For those students who get really inspired by this entrepreneurship and innovation, and they have ideas for companies, and just to give you a sense for this, I actually had a student who was over for pizza the other day, who's a first-year student, who wanted to talk to me about the company that he'd already formed before he came to Mines and how we might be able to support that activity. So these are the students that are coming here. But we're going to have the Beck Venture Center is going to be opening in a couple months. It's on the edge of campus facing out in the community. So between 17th and 18th and facing out on Washington. We're going to have, that's where our venture programming is taking place. We have a venture director, who Zach Bennett, who's an alum, who's going to be driving the program. Zach has told me he's already done sort of a survey, and just up until this point, where we don't even have the building, but we've had programs going, we've had over 50 companies associated with Mines starting up. Those 50 companies have attracted about $20 million in startup funding, of which about $9 million is non-dilutive funding. So we know it's gonna happen, and we're pretty sure everybody's very confident this thing's going to be pretty fully packed quickly. And in addition to that, we have a Mines Venture Fund, which is going to be able to help support these things. And this is operation, and its program is also actually supporting NREL, the National Renewable Energy Lab, close by here in their startup program. So pretty exciting to get those going. Again, I'm pretty confident we're going to have a lot of activity, that's because I already see it taking place. So I just gave you a sense of some things going on. So we've got some teams of faculty and students who are working on a couple NASA challenges. One of them is called the Break the Ice Challenge. The goal is to be able to basically excavate and move dirt on the moon that contains water as ice, and to be able to process that. And so there's been a big competition right now. Our team is one of 15 phase 2 winners. They're actually demonstrating, pilot testing their unit right now. They have to run it for 15 days continuously. And if this all works out, they might get down selected for the next level of the competition as well. So exciting to see how that happens. There's another team formed by students that's competing in something called the NASA Watts on the Moon Challenge, which is trying to create the electrical infrastructure to support activity on the moons. This group of students actually formed their own startup company to compete in this competition, and they're one of the last 4 teams standing. They're the only student formed and driven team. All the rest of them are sort of professional companies and everything like that. They've already won $600,000, and they're competing for a much larger prize. So good luck to them. Excited to see what's going to happen there. On the research side of things, there's a lot taking place. I'll just sort of say we're working on packaging all of the things that go on here with respect to research. Students can be in faculty members' research groups, and we're trying to again, package things in a way that makes it easier for people to find what's going on here and to understand what we're doing. So these 6 things in the picture are what we refer to as the pillars of research and innovation. They're still kind of undergoing some things, but you'll be able to sort of click on those and see all the activities taking place. I know a number of you submitted questions, and I know Maddie's obviously interested in sustainable issues, and there's a whole group of people working on those things as well on that. Some of you asked questions about sort of climate change and other things related to that, and I thought I'd highlight one of the projects that's just underway, just started to get funding. one of our faculty teams teamed up with a company called Carbon America, and they won a $32 million grant, largest ever external grant in Mines history. And the goal is all about taking CO2 that's being produced in the southern part of the state and getting it down into the subsurface. That's the easiest way I can explain it. But we've got experts on subsurface geology and geophysics and reservoir storage and everything like that. We've got experts on our faculty who are know about community engagement on these kinds of things, and that's why because of our unique capabilities in both areas, as well as teaming with Carbon America. That's why we were awarded this $32 million grant. So excited to see that happening as well. And if you're interested in what's going on general in research, Research Operation produced a great magazine this year. You can get that online. You can see the range of topics that are being covered here on campus. And as I said earlier, there's almost $100 million of funding from external organizations coming to Mines just to work on these really important challenges for industry and for society. So Mines is a great place with our traditional expertise, our newer developing expertise. You can see in the NASA projects, we're taking our, like mechanical engineering expertise, our mining expertise, we're combining it with something that's important for space resources and bringing all those things together that we have that other schools don't to be able to tackle the things that you hear about in the news every day. So excited to see that going on. In addition to competing for those kinds of things, we also compete really well athletically. You've probably heard that because I've mentioned it already, but last year, the men's cross country team won the national championship. We had 2 individual national champions, Dylan Powell, who's a chemical engineer, one of Maddie's students over there, and then Hannah Miller, who's a quantitative bioscience and engineering major, won the indoor pole vault. John Matoke, our quarterback, won the Harlan Hill Trophy and lots of other recognitions. Zoe Baker, she double majored in math and computer science. One of the 9 finalists for NCAA Women of the Year across all NCAA levels. Coach of the Year, we won our 7th consecutive RMAC Cup as the top athletic program in the Rocky Mountain Conference. And for the first time ever, we finished number 3 in the country in the Learfield Directors Cup of all athletic programs in the country. To me, it's not about just how big the number is in the wins column or the scores column. To me, it's really about the quality of the student athletes that we attract. And to me, the athletic program just attracts great students here to Mines. And so I was checking some numbers the other day, and I was looking at academic All-Americans. So to be an academic All-American, you have to have at least a 3.5 GPA, and you have to be performing at the top level of your particular sport. And lo and behold, the school with the most number of academic All-Americans in Division II is little old Colorado School of Mines. And what's even more amazing about that is 13 years ago, we probably almost didn't have any. So almost all those 176 came in the last 13 years. And in fact, if you look at schools that have had the most academic All-Americans in the last 13 years, those schools are Massachusetts or MIT, which is not a Division II school, Stanford, Johns Hopkins, and Mines. So look at top 4 schools for academic All-Americans last 13 years, and we're up there with some pretty awesome names. So very, very impressive. We actually, for the first time ever, had one of our students, and now 2, be named as the top student athlete, so scholar athlete, student athlete, of all 120,000 Division II athletes that are out there. Mines had the person named as the top overall by 2 separate organizations. So our quarterback, John Matoka, again, computer science major, and Duncan Feeney, who's one of our cross-country track runners and is a graduate student in the applied physics program. So that's pretty remarkable for little old Mines to have 1, if not 2, or have anybody ever do this. So given the difficulty of our programs. With that, I'm going to ask, I know a lot of you always like to know what's going on campus, and what's vertical, what's going in those holes in the ground, and what's taking up our parking spaces and all those kinds of things. And so I've asked Kirsten Volpe, our CFO and COO, to tell you a little bit about what's happening here on campus with respect to the infrastructure. So Kirsten, want to give us an update?
All right, thank you, President Johnson. So he already went over a couple of the buildings that we have coming up. And so here are 2 additional buildings that are under construction. We are building an early childhood care center for our employees. This is something that we have been really deliberate about making sure that we're supporting our employees that have young children. It is something that's important for us for recruiting employees and retention. Childcare is just such a challenge, especially in the Golden Metro area. So we're really pleased to be able to have that project, and it is anticipated to come due next summer. So happy about that one. Because our enrollment continues to grow, capacity for classrooms continues to get tighter. So we are constructing a classroom building right now on campus. It'll be 9 innovative active learning classrooms, and then plus also we will have space for faculty as well as students. And then attached to that classroom will be a rather large parking garage, because as President Johnson noted, we keep building buildings on parking and taking our parking lots away. So we have much needed parking that's going to be coming our way. So a parking garage should be open in about a year, and then the classroom should be open the following spring semester. We have several projects in planning, and housing is one of the areas that we're really focusing on. Right now, Mines has the capacity to house all of our first-year students and about 350 of our second-year students, and then we house about 500 of our upper class and graduate students. But with really with the enhancing the students' experience and allowing both the first and second year students, we need to build. We also want to make sure that we have enough housing for our juniors, seniors, as well as our graduate students. So the project that you see on the screen here is redevelopment of Mines Park, which is our apartment complex that has, again, upper level students as well as graduate students. We're in the middle of a renovation phase, which we're renovating 400 units. And then we will be demolishing some units and building brand new 662. So that construction will start within the next month. We're very excited to have that, have those units come open. And we're going to have more of a village and more of a real community up there. There'll be a community center, cafe, lounge area, rec area. So really more of a home for our students. And we are anticipating that all of the new build will be open for the August 2025 start of that new academic year. The next project is something that we've been working on for quite some time with the federal government, the U.S. Geological Survey. We are finally underway with this facility. Movement is happening, and dirt will start moving probably within the next month. This is a building that is funded by the federal government. It's a $240 million building, and the United States Geological Survey Division of Minerals, as well as Energy, will move from their current home in Lakewood at the Federal Center and will move here onto the Mines campus. And Mines will also, some of our minerals and materials folks, as well as our energy, will have lab space, office space in the building. We will also have classroom space in the building. And so it's a real important partnership that we've had longstanding with the USGS. And this just really accentuates that partnership, our faculty working together, student internships, a lot of joint research programs. It is going to be really an enhancement to that partnership. So very excited about this facility. Groundbreaking will be in November, and it's a very large, almost 200,000 square foot building. It's a very large, complex building, and it'll take a while to build, but we anticipate it being open in the summer of 2026. And then to kind of finish off the housing conversation, in order to have all of our second year students have the ability to live on campus, ensuring that they can do so, we will be building a sophomore housing specific residence hall. As you can see from the picture here, it is just south of 19th Street, and it is south of Spruce Hall, as well as Weaver Towers. And this will be the first main building that we will build on the plot of land that we own south of 19th Street. Construction is going to start early next year. It will be a project that has kitchens and recreation space and dining for our students. And we are hoping that it is going to be open in August of 2026 for those students who will be coming into their second year. Oh, you skipped over one. There you go. Thank you. And so another great partnership is we are working with the Coors family and Coors Tech in their new development in Golden, which is at Washington Avenue and 8th Street. And the Coors and Coors Tech are building out the old Coors site, the old Coors Tech site, and are going to create a new multi-use site. It will be retail, hotel, dining, office space, parking, and they approached us first and said they want us to be a partner with them in this project, wanted our presence in this project, and we jumped at the chance. We're very excited to be able to commit that we will support this facility and be occupants of the building. We're going to occupy about 50,000 square feet. It's going to be for some research and development programs, as well as other signature programs that we have. We will be in the Coors Tech headquarters building, and very much looking forward to partnering with them again on this particular project. We hope to be able to move in sometime at the end of calendar 2025. And then a few other projects that we're working on. The McKees gave us a generous donation to create the West End Zone project. So for those of you that have been to a football game this year, you might see our new beer garden is in the McKee West End Zone. It is just a place for people to gather and enjoy the game from a different vantage point. It's really so far in the games that have been there this year, it's really been popular and a really important place for people to connect and gather and enjoy the game. Mines Cross Country, you heard President Johnson talk about our championship team and player and runners. We also had another wonderful donation for being able to create our own cross-country course. So we are just starting the process of creating our own cross-country course west of 6th Avenue in our survey field. So very happy to be able to support our athletes in that way. And then, as we will have with the housing projects that I've mentioned, about 1,400 more students living on campus, we need to expand dining. We are already at and above capacity for our dining, as well as for our recreation space. So we are in the planning phases right now for a new dining hall, as well as a new recreation facility. So more to come on those. We're in the early stages, but very happy to be able to get these moving forward in support of our students.
Thanks, Kirsten. And thanks everyone who's been involved in any of these facilities. I think you all know that if you think about everything we've talked about so far, all the new things happening at Mines, the ability to attract great students, the infrastructure, everything that's happening, it doesn't really happen without support from a lot of people. And of course, all of you online have been very helpful for Mines over time. Oh, Kirsten, I forgot one thing. Do you want to talk about the shuttle?
I forgot about the shuttle.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So one of the most exciting things about this semester is we have started our a shuttle program. So we have a great partnership with the City of Golden and with our students, who all went a third in together on supporting this this shuttle. We had a really wonderful time with sticky notes out on the quad, and a lot of different trying to get names for whatever this is going to be called. And the orc cart was the winner. So the shuttle is making rounds all around Golden, up to Mines Park, down to the Jefferson County train. So students, employees, community members in Golden can get to the train, get to the airport, get to Denver. We've got 6 or 7 shuttles that are running. So this is really changing the feel of campus and how people get around. It's heavily used already. And it's an exciting program that we've needed for a long time, and very happy to see that we've been able to implement it this semester.
Right. Thanks, Kirsten. So getting back to where I was going, a lot of I'd have to say that, and I say this a lot to people when I walk around campus or look at the new programs that we have, or all the exciting things for the students, whether it's the innovation complex or it's new programs, new opportunities, new scholarships, everything like that. Most of that comes from private support. And so we obviously the foundation works very hard to support the university, and we've got Board of Governors members on the Zoom call tonight with us, and that we're having pretty successful campaign for Mines at 150. Last year was the 3rd best ever fundraising year in Mines history, which is pretty good. Brian's told me he's pretty optimistic about this next year coming up, and obviously we're going to celebrate completion of the campaign probably sometime in 25. And the governors right now, and Brian and his team are discussing whether or not to up that $450 million campaign goal to a $500 million goal. And so far, everybody that I know has told Brian to go for it. So he's trying to be a little cautious, but I have a feeling that's going to be his goal after about a week from now, when the governors get together for homecoming. So great thing. Obviously, we're getting a lot of gifts that help enable us. I think last year one of the large gifts was from the Whistler family, who are helping us to create a couple named professor positions in the mining program, a student scholarship program. And really, the reason that Stephen already did this is because they want our mining engineering program to remain #1. They want us to be the place that produces the top mining engineers. They want everybody to look to us to the future. So, that's what we're going to do with this investment. So it's pretty exciting. Lots of other great investments came in last year. The Swigers are investing in helping us create a professorship that we're going to award sometime in the next couple of days for a faculty member who's helping us be innovative in how we incorporate business acumen into all the education of all of our students here at Mines. We've got investments for the new construction engineering program, for other scholarships for students, for some of the space in the new venture center, support for our scholars programs, support for very important facilities for us from the Edgar Mine. And I always like to point out, it's not just sort of external folks who are involved in fundraising and supporting our students and everything like that. The campus community really comes together as well during iDig Mines Giving Day, and faculty and staff committee has done a great job raising support for students, particularly students who are experiencing food insecurity. So we've got all those things going on. So I just want to thank all of you. I know we've got, I know John and Ben and Jerry are on here, and you've supported professor positions as well. Appreciate that. Steve, I know you're on here. You've helped support programming. I can't possibly go through all the list of everybody on the call and all the support that you've given, but just thank you. It really is what's making Mines at 150 possible. It's really what is catalyzing the university's evolution, and is what's helping us attract great students like Maddie here to Mines. So thank you all for that. And we're going to wrap up with Peter giving you a little update on what's going on from a celebration standpoint, and then we'll handle a few questions. So Peter, it's all yours.
Great, thank you, Paul. Yes, we're excited to be able to celebrate our 150th anniversary in the next year with some exciting events, and we're really focusing on a couple of historical events. First was February 9th of 1874, which is when the Territorial Assembly passed the bill that established School of Mines as a public supported institution of higher education. And the second is September of 1874, when Mines welcomed its first class of students. So an interesting fact is that we actually weren't the first public higher ed to be established in the territory of Colorado. That honor goes to our neighbors up at Fort Collins of what was then the Agricultural College. But we were the first to open. So I think it's quite fitting for Mines, given our hallmarks and our tradition, that we got things done, and we were able to open a lot sooner than our friends up in Fort Collins. So we have a couple of events that we are definitely focusing on. First is going to be February 9th of 2024. We will be doing sort of a celebration with the legislature, but also on campus. Hopefully some sort of birthday celebration with birthday cake. I think we'll be doing some sort of I Dig Mines. The foundation will be running a bit of an I Dig Mines celebration that week, maybe on that day. We will have a couple of twists to some annual celebrations. E-Days, of course, is a huge event on campus, and the students are looking at planning on some fun things for their celebration 2024. Graduation, this is a class, the fall 2020 class was a class that did not get to experience a high school graduation. Many of them did not get to experience a high school graduation. So President Johnson promised them something special for their graduation, and we're working hard to make sure that we can deliver on that promise. And we'll have, we are really working to having the large, real big celebration for homecoming, which will be September 27th and 28th of 2024. So please mark that date down on your calendar. We're looking to have a really vertical celebration of alumni, students, faculty, staff, and really something that hopefully will become a future tradition going on. And then as Paul mentioned, the foundation will be celebrating the camp, and the school will be celebrating the success of the Campaign for Mines. We'll blow past their new goal, I'm sure, by spring of 2025. And I think that date will be announced shortly. So there'll be a lot more things to come. I know the Foundation Alumni Board are looking at ways in which to involve alumni even further. And the campus continues to talk about what else we can do to continue to celebrate Mines in the next year. So we're looking forward to celebrating with you all on campus or elsewhere.
Great. Thank you, Peter. And Brian, I think the floor is yours.
Well, thank you so much. Just a terrific presentation. Paul, Kirsten, Peter, Maddie, just really good information. Lots of great stuff going on. A lot of the questions that had been submitted, I think were addressed. One that had come in, I think might be of interest is about transfer students. We have a really robust transfer student population on campus, and I know that Mines works really hard with agreements between Red Rocks Community College and other community colleges, and preparing those students to become ore diggers. So thanks to Dan Witkowski for the question. Maybe a little bit about that process that our transfer students go through to becoming ore diggers.
Sure, I'll be happy to take that on, Brian. Dan, thanks for the question. Hope to see you at homecoming. And so a little bit of background on this one. We have a actually pretty broad relationship with all the community colleges here in the state. And then we also get students that transfer in from out of state from other colleges. Within the state, we have a very special relationship with Red Rocks. So we've created something in the last few years called the Mines Academy at Red Rocks, which basically the students there are, they feel like they are members of the Mines community. So they can come to events on the Mines campus. They're connected to everything. All the work that they do there transfers over to Mines. And we work pretty hard to make sure that they have just as much affinity for Mines as other students. We also have broader agreements with the other community college systems, and a few years ago created something called the Associates of Engineering Science degree, that if you pursue that and complete that at community college, again, all that work transfers to Mines as well to make that transfer easier. So part of what we're doing is we're trying to make people feel part of Mines while they're at their community college. Then when they get to Mines, we have a student success class for transfer students. That's the analog to what Brian and I teach for first-year students. So we teach a CSM 101 class. There's a version specifically for transfer students to help make sure they get their legs under them and get going. And then we just get them engaged in everything going forward from there. So the last, last event I had a couple days ago, we did pizza with the president. There were either 1 or 2 transfer students just in, there were two out of about 10 students were transfer students there. So my experience is the transfer students just jump in and get going and just acclimate, become part of the community really quickly. So, and I really appreciate all the efforts that Student Life and Academic Affairs do to make that happen for them. They also get invited to Ordiger Camp. So we met quite a few transfer students at Ordiger Camp as well. So and one of them I had coffee with the other day because I met him at Ordiger Camp. So we do our best to make them feel part of the community and draw them in, and so they're feel just like everybody else.
Great, thank you very much. Another topic, another question that came up, and you touched on it, Paul, earlier, about how Mines is addressing some of the challenges with regard to delivering energy to a growing global population and environmental concerns. And I think what Mines is doing with some of the development of courses to educate students about some of these challenges is pretty fascinating.
Yeah. So, Brian, we're in a really very unique position relative to other universities around the country because of the expertise that we have here on campus across the whole energy portfolio, whether that's oil and gas or renewables or nuclear. We've got it covered like no other school does. On top of that, we've got folks who really understand the environmental side of things and the climate aspect of things as well. So we have a pretty unique combination of expertise here on campus. And as a result, we've got a lot of different initiatives going on. We've got something called the Global Energy Futures Initiative, which pulls together all the expertise here on campus and helps provide an entry point for people who want to access that. And then we've got that going on. We've got we want to position ourselves as a convener of discussions. And so we have a lot of activities. Tomorrow we're launching a critical minerals workshop is going on here in campus with a lot of external people coming on. We've had other things related to energy in the policy space that we've hosted things as well. So that's all taking place. And then we've got coursework. So I mentioned the changes to the core curriculum going on. And so the faculty that worked really hard on this created a class that's going to go in the first year for students. It's called the Futures class. And the Futures class is going to focus on thematic things that are important to industry and society. And so the first couple flavors of this future class, one is actually focusing on carbon management. And so it's going to have a particular focus on that and all the technical and societal and policy issues associated with that. And there's another flavor of the class that's going to be focusing on the future of energy. And so again, every student that comes to Mine in their first year will be taking this futures class and developing I think a little bit more sophisticated understanding of the complexity of these systems that maybe challenge what they've learned up to this point before they got to the university. So we're excited to see those going. I know the faculty are pretty excited about delivering those classes as well. So I don't know, it might be, I don't know, Maddie, how, you've got this very strong sustainability interest. How have you managed to work that into to your coursework or your extracurricular activities or whatever?
Yeah, in my coursework, I've definitely been able to incorporate it through taking some of the energy classes, as well as I'm in a class right now called Intro to Energy Technologies. So in that class, I'm getting to learn more about energy technologies across realms of energy production. And then outside of the classroom, this summer, I was able to intern at the National Renewable Energy Lab, applying all the education and skills that I've learned at Mines. I was able to pursue an internship there and learn a lot more about real world national lab research with renewable energy. So I was able to learn more that way. And it was fun to have that experience outside of the classroom.
Yeah, I'm just curious. I think I suspect some of the listeners would be curious, but how is your, I guess, understanding of the complexity of the world on those topics changed as you've been at Mines and as you've gotten through your internships and your courses?
I've definitely learned a lot more about to echo what you said, the complexity of it all. As a high schooler, I was super passionate about sustainability, and I just like wanted to go solve all the problems of the world. And I definitely still want to do that. But I've recognized that there's a lot in the world of sustainability, especially with regards to energy. Like there's places where you need electrical engineers, there's places where you need mechanical or chemical. Just like the variety of opportunities within the field, and the necessity for a variety of people has been really cool to learn about, because it's not just on a STEM side as well. There's a lot of outside of STEM operations going on too, to help our planet and improve sustainability. So it's been really, really fascinating to learn.
Great, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah,
Awesome.
absolutely.
Yeah, well done, Maddie. Thank you. Well, we're running up against time, and so I want to thank all the panelists, all of my friends and colleagues here for participating, and thank all of you for joining us. Again, I know a lot of you will be viewing this as a recording, and so thank you for taking the time. We could not do what we do, all the things that were presented here today, many of which have been enabled by donors, and we appreciate you. You're the margin of excellence. And also to all of the volunteers. We have an unprecedented amount of volunteerism going on right now by alumni and other people who have never had any affiliation with Mines before. So it's an exciting time. There are a lot of ways to get involved. Be an advocate, be a volunteer, be a donor. It all makes a difference and helps us to achieve the goals of the Mines at 150 plan and position Mines for success for another 150 years. I did want to give Maddie kind of a chance for a last word, because all of us use the word pride around here a lot. You can just feel it, you sense it. And Maddie, you're one of the best cheerleaders around for Mines itself. But could you just quickly give a sense of the pride that you and your fellow students are feeling on campus for this place?
Yeah, absolutely. It is, I guess, an honor to get to go to Mines and get to interact with all the other students. And it's challenging at times, of course, but there's definitely a sense of unity amongst the campus, and everyone understands that we're struggling, but we're struggling through it together, and that we're working hard toward a goal of building careers for ourselves. And whenever like outside of school, whenever someone asks me where I go to school, I'm always so excited to say, oh, I go to Colorado School of Mines. And if they've heard of it, they're like, oh, that's amazing. And if they've not, then I just get to share about what an amazing institution it is. And I definitely think that the sense of pride amongst the campus translates across the student body. Despite the struggles we may go through, we're all super happy to be here and be able to get the highest quality of education that we possibly can.
Awesome. Well done. Well, thanks everybody. We hope you have a good night, and go Ore Diggers.